So I came across this post on the Justice Warriors investigations, and she goes into the timeline of how the audio was released. Before I go into that, I want to refresh some memories on what happened on May 10th. On May 10th, she made a post worried about her license because of this leaked audio. Okay, so she says, it needs to be understood that neither Chloe, I, or Tracy, or anyone who was under this obligation of confidentiality leaked the audio. It is my understanding that my client shared it with someone who leaked it. She said, it's my understanding, okay, that my client shared it with someone who leaked it. It should be known that I didn't send it to my client. So she says right here, she didn't give it to her client because she was afraid it would create more chaos and distract further from finding Sebastian. However, her client made a request for the audio to one of the people she did share it with. So he made a request to someone she shared it with. She says right here, I shared it with, and they didn't see a reason to withhold it from him. So she shared it with somebody who wasn't Seth. She only has a confidentiality agreement with Seth. So sharing it with anybody other than Seth is essentially leaking it and breaching that confidentiality. Is that correct? So let's go back to her post 2 days ago. She says the audio was recorded on May 1st. On that day, she forwarded it to her assistants and 2 colleagues and Chloe's colleague. She said she never sent the audio to Seth. Okay. And then on May 9th, she skips to May 9th. I want to highlight what happened between the days of the 1st and the 9th. We had Nina's court stuff. And on the 2nd, the witness list was amended. And there was an exhibit list that was entered into Nina's court docket here. On the 6th, you had the affidavit of service, another affidavit of service. And then on the 7th, you have another witness list and another exhibit list. So this all happened between the 1st and the 9th. And in between the time is when both Chloe and Heather were allegedly asked to step down. So then we skip to May 9th, and she received a text message informing her that the audio had been leaked. So now all of a sudden she's like, finds out that the audio has been leaked. A lot of stuff happened between her taking the recording and her allegedly finding out that the audio was leaked. The audio was given to YouTubers. It was entered into court dockets. So the details that she had at this time were minimal. The person that she was told to leak the call was not the first to leak it. And what she learned later was that there were several YouTubers who had been sent the audio a few days prior and asked to hold on to it until that day. For this reason, as she understood, it was the audio was to be sent as evidence at a court hearing, and whoever sent it to the YouTubers did not want it getting out prior to the court date. Now, since then, it's come out that Trevor Lee, one of the YouTubers, and Smiley allegedly were at Nina's court hearing as witnesses. So these YouTubers that allegedly don't know anybody involved in the case are testifying at their custody case. These are YouTubers that have had these people on there making accusations against Christopher Proudfoot and setting a very, picture. They're painting a big picture here to make Christopher Proudfoot look guilty. And now these YouTubers are testifying at these people's court hearing for custody trial. Completely unprofessional for these child advocates to be getting involved with families that they don't even know in this way during a big case like this. So after the audio was leaked, they got to work trying to figure out how it was leaked. She wanted to make sure she didn't have a mole in her camp. She even went back through her sent emails to be sure that she hadn't sent it to Seth or anyone else that she had forgotten about. She says she did not. She then says she doesn't know how Seth got the audio until he called and told her that he had sent it to Nina. And that was when he told her that it was his fault that the call had leaked, and did not know how he got it because it didn't matter. That's what she said. She didn't know how he got it because it didn't matter. She was just relieved that it was not from a breach of confidentiality from someone that she had trusted. So then she goes on to talk about Tony. After a couple days after the leak, she had a conversation with Tony in which he apologized. He informed me that Seth had expressed that he wanted the audio and that neither I or Chloe would send it to them. Tony said that he didn't see any reason to withhold it from him, so he sent it. He said he thought it was cute that Chloe and I were trying to protect him, but that he felt Seth should have it. He also said that Michaela was out there, called out just to send to my email. He was on speakerphone, and that's what he did. Technically, it was not a leak when it was sent to Seth because he is or was the client, and he is the only person that she owed a duty of confidentiality to. And she says she's still not sure how Tony got the audio. Well, I want to go back and refresh her memory because she says right here, that she gave it to him. I did not give the audio to my client because I was afraid it would create more chaos. However, my client made a request. So like Tony said, Seth requested it and my client shared it with someone who leaked it, right? So my client made a request for the audio to one of the people I did share it with. To one my my client made a request to one of the people I did share it with. So how did Tony get it? She shared it with him. She said it right here. I did share it with, and they didn't see a reason for it to be withheld from him. Just like she says Tony said, there was no reason to withhold it from him. So she gave the leaked audio, she leaked the audio to Tony, a criminal who is not her client, who is not part of her team. She breached her confidentiality when she sent when she shared it with Tony. Right or wrong? That's my question for the Justice Warriors investigations. And why would you say you don't know how Tony got it when very clearly you said right here, I did share it with them? So then she goes on to say that at that point, the audio was entered into a court record and it became public information and would be available to anyone who knows how to utilize the Freedom of Information Act. I'm going to stop her right there because this is a court hearing on a child custody case. Child custody cases involving a minor are sealed cases, and you cannot get information on them through the Freedom of Information Act. So to say that at this point it's no longer considered sensitive is just not true. It is still considered sensitive because this is a court case involving a minor child, a sealed court case. And yes, it is still considered a leak, legally, from my understanding. But I'm not a lawyer, so I would recommend they consult one because I know that some people have lawyers and they're looking very deep into this.